We are 15 minutes away from opening our grain and livestock trade for a Thursday. Mark Oppold, thanks for joining us. Joining me to lead off, he's our leadoff hitter every morning at this time, Rich Nelson from Allendale, our friends from Allendale. Rich, thanks for taking time every morning to get our viewers and listeners ready for the day here as the trade opens in a few minutes. I'm going to talk about this grain trade, something you mentioned yesterday, the number of acres that the folks at Allendale are kind of keeping a close watch on. Doesn't mean this is a final number by any means, but there's a lot of acres that are being watched because of planting, replanting, or whatever, or poor conditions.
That's exactly right. Now, one thing we're looking at as far as computing from Tuesday's crop progress report is this idea we have at least 3 million acres in the key areas, which are the key wet concern areas, Missouri through Ohio, including Kentucky as well. Mm-hmm. And we throw in a couple other states there. So bottom line, you've got about 3.4 up to 3.7 million acres, which are still needed to be planted in the first place. This comes in addition to the replanting effort going on in much of that region as well.
Very good. Yeah, watch that. That's a big number here, and that can mean make a big difference, obviously, to ending stocks for one. And again, interesting. I was also reading, Rich. Get your thoughts here. The December futures contract went up to around 395 yesterday. Seems like they say that about the fourth time since the 1st of April. It's gone up there, but it can't get past there. Excuse me, just a nickel away from $4.
You know, it's definitely the key issue for us right now, this idea that we are going to transition into a lighter supply environment for the new crop discussion, but we still have plenty of farmers, many customers our own as well, who have a lot of old crop supply still remaining. It's not uncommon to hear stories of 100,000 bushels, if not more, still on hand for last fall's harvest.
Mm-hmm. Then we turn to the soybean trade here, starting out the day, Rich Nelson joining us from Allendale, reading here that July futures lost 40 cents during the month of May, and November lost 35 cents during the month of May. That's about the third month in a row of losses from the first of the month to the last of the month in the soybean complex.
Certainly true, and we do have some negative news regarding this. This is a valid bearish move on the bean side here. We do have the concerns about Chinese crush margins, the supply of Brazil soybeans available for exports, and also the fact we have a very good amount of U.S. soybeans still unshipped. You know, we're ahead of USDA's pace on sales, no doubt there, but we've got 258 million bushels still holding out for unshipped product, which is still a question mark.
I understand, yeah. And they talked about China. In fact, that's a great point you bring up. Reports here that China may cancel or roll forward as many as 7 to 8 cargoes of soybeans. Those aren't all from the U.S., are they, or are they?
And most of this is going to be Brazilian origin, so that's good news for us. We've already got most of our product to China. Most of it going to be shipped out, but this is an issue for us here for these next few months. When they go into what's our new crop buying season, our new crop export season, who are they going to be buying from at that point is our main concern here.
And then looking at wheat real quick here, Rich Nelson joining us from Allendale. Just one example here in the world market, Egypt had about 180,000 tons of wheat they purchased. Romania had 1 cargo. Russia got 2 cargoes, but the U.S. and France missed out.
Definitely true here. Probably not a big surprise to the trade, but yet another point that on the world wheat export market, you know, obviously we're not the main supplier of cheap product right now. So it is an issue we have to keep in mind here.
All right, Rich Nelson, not done yet. We're going to keep him working here. Take a break, come back, and again, about 10 minutes away from opening the livestock trade, and talk to Rich about the beef and pork complex setting up here for this Thursday. We'll be right back. And we are 10 minutes away from opening our livestock trade here on a Thursday. Rich Nelson joining us here from Allendale. Rich, even though only a 4-day trading week, a lot of work never stops on the farm and ranch, but only a 4-day week. Seems like it's already been 5 days the way this trade's been going.
Certainly true, no doubt about that.
All right, looking at the beef complex here overall, I was reading here that steady beef market, steady dressed beef here. Cash price is more steady early on here from the Fed Cattle Exchange. Packer margins are positive. There are a lot of things that are positive here in the beef complex.
You know, that's exactly right. And a lot of it is also the fact that futures had this good discount here for June and August. Futures Starting out the week, to make those June futures prices work, we would have had to drop $10 over 5 weeks. And this week, if we're trading cash at steady, that's actually already saying we've got some problems with these discounts on certainly the June contract at least.
Exactly. And then now I'm going to show here, we'll have a summary here of the livestock trade. Before we let you go, though, Rich, I want to get your thoughts on the pork complex here. There was a shipment of Canadian pork. One of the headlines that caught my eye, a shipment of Canadian pork to China that had a feed additive that is banned in China, not necessarily a totally negative to the trade here, but it's a small additive that they don't like.
That's exactly right on that ractopamine issue here. We've got the issues with Canada's exports. The question is whether that will translate into better U.S. exports. And this comes at a time when, we're running about 6% higher than last year on the U.S. pork exports for the year total. But the last couple weeks have been great, 20 to 90% over last year. So hopefully we'll get maybe an extra sale out of this concerning issue here.
And Iowa, Minnesota hog weights holding steady here for this past week. Still they're lower than they were a year ago, but shows producers continue to be current.
For the most part, that's exactly right. Our question right now is certainly about when these next few plants will come online later this summer and into the fall as well, and whether that will add maybe a little support here for us in the pricing too.
And give us the location of those plants you're relating to there, Rich.
And I believe we've got Minnesota. We also have, I believe, a Michigan one here still lined up. And we still have one in construction here for the 2018 picture as well.
Very good. Rich, thanks for your time. I'm going to get a livestock summary here for our viewers and listeners. And we look forward to getting back in touch with you tomorrow.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Rich Nelson from Allendale leading off here before we open these futures trade. Let's go to our livestock summary here, the cattle market here. Anything in the cash trade was a result of the Fed Cattle Exchange yesterday. There wasn't any trade in the country. Their trade on a wide range here, the cattle that did trade, they had about 1,250 that did sell at 128 to 132.5. Hog trade continues higher. Cash topping out at 59, and the carcass base is up over $1 across the country, topping out at $75. And then our egg price holding steady, a little bit of a rise here late week before the holiday, but steady here the last couple of days with extra large eggs, New York based, topping out 81 cents a dozen, and large eggs at 79 cents. That, again, those are prices delivered to the store. And our July milk early on here, Janet, another 13 cents higher. Pretty good run for July milk futures now, $17.39 a hundred.
All right, thank you very much, Mark. Appreciate it.